Hey everybody. So this is going to be a video about how to complete the informational interview. And it gets confusing because we have like a mock interview and then an informational interview. And yes, they're two completely separate things. Both of them are extra credit. So this is an extra credit interview. What you will be doing in this interview is instead of you getting interviewed, like in the mock interview, you are going to interview someone in the field that you're interested in, or even in a related field or similar field, or even like someone that you just kind of think that looks like a fascinating job. I might be interested in that. Okay, so basically, what you need to do is first you need to locate a person, like find somebody that you are actually interested in interviewing, and then go ahead and contact them and ask them, hey, can you do this interview with me? Because it would be really awesome if you could do that. And if they say yes, then you need to set up a time and do the interview. You can absolutely do this interview over, I guess if you want to use Zoom, because I know we have Zoom, but if they have it, it's free. You just get an account and start using it. So you can use Zoom, but you're also welcome to use like FaceTime or, Snapchat, video chat if you want. Please do video chat if you can. If that's not possible, then I guess you could do it just voice phone over the old school regular telephone way. You could do it that way. But I mean, I would prefer if you could actually like talk to the person face to face in some way. I know like we can't always meet in person right now, so yeah, you can just do it online. That's fine. So there is a set list of 16 questions that you need to fill out regarding the interview. Okay, so this isn't the interview itself. This is just something that you have to turn in along with the interview because it helps me to understand like who you're interviewing and why you're interviewing them. So let me read through the questions real quick with you. So number one, what's the name of the person that you're going to call? So who is this person you're interviewing? Give me their name. Make a specific appointment for a length of time. So number two, you don't even need to write anything. It just says make the appointment. So once you make an appointment with them, you're good. Number three, when is your appointment and for how long? So I would recommend that you give yourself at least 30 minutes to maybe an hour. So maybe tell them 45 minutes to an hour, tops. So they set aside like an hour's worth of time to spend with you doing the interview. Make a specific list of questions. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I want you to go into chapter 9. And if you look over chapter 9, you'll see in that chapter, there is a whole section on how to conduct the information interview. Please read that section. And if you read it, you'll understand exactly how to do the assignment. The list of 16 questions that I have as you need to answer these questions is also in the book. So basically, I just took that straight from the book and I'm asking you to answer those questions. And there is a list of possible questions that you could ask your person that you're going to interview, but you're not limited to those. So you can ask any question you want as long as it's relevant to the job that they do, so you can get more information about what their job is like and how they do it and the good things and the bad things about the job. This is a very important thing, and I kind of feel like, gosh, I messed up by not assigning this to everybody. But if you're smart, you'll do this as extra credit because it is actually a great way for you to get a glimpse into the actual occupation that you are interested in going into. So I'm a psychologist, right? So if I had done an informational interview on another psychologist prior to deciding that that was what my major was and kind of following through on that, I don't know if I would have chosen psychology as my major because there's a lot of things about the profession that basically are not good. And if I had known that prior to going into it, maybe I would have made a different decision. But I didn't because I didn't take the time I didn't actually know anybody in the field of psychology that I could ask. So the thing is like, even if you don't know somebody, try to network your way into a situation where you can interview someone. The best way that I found, which is kind of mind blowing, but it works, is just to use social media. When you are on social media, start asking around, does anybody know anyone in the field of whatever? Guess what? Your friends probably know someone who's in that field, and you can maybe make that connection that way. It doesn't have to be somebody you already know. It can be somebody that you kind of network your way into getting to know. Another thing is like I'm on Facebook and I've noticed because I'm a writer, there's tons of writers groups all over Facebook. So if I wanted to interview a writer, I could just go to any of those writing groups and ask to join and then ask all the writers in the group. So what I would do, like let's say you're into radiology, go on Facebook, go on Reddit and type in radiology groups and you will find, guess what? There's a bunch of radiologists somewhere on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, that are just talking about radiology all day long. And you can just ask in the group, hey, does anybody have an hour to complete a interview? Because I'm doing a project and I'm kind of interested in going into radiology and I'd like to know more about the profession. A lot of people will help you if you do that. So if you're struggling to find somebody, I would say that would be the easiest way to find someone if you don't know someone else. But probably the best way to find somebody is just to ask your friends on social media, just nice and out loud where everybody can see, hey, does anybody know anybody in this profession? And a lot of times someone does. Then if you can't figure it out that way, then try going into the, social groups and go for someone you don't know. But the key is to get somebody in the field that you're actually looking at with interest and not just anybody. Because, anybody can get anybody, but it's great if you can get somebody in the field that you're actually looking into. All right, so back to this list of questions. Number 4 is make a list of specific questions or things that you want to know about the job. So you need at least 12 questions and you need to just list the questions here in number 4. So there should just be a nice list of questions there in number 4. The answers are not necessary right there, just the questions, okay? You can come up with whatever questions you want. They can pertain specifically to the profession that you're interested in. Or they could be more general. It's up to you. But try to think about what do you really want to know about the profession. One good question that I like to ask is, what are some of the negative things about being a radiologist that you can tell me? Because I want to know what the negative stuff is just as much as I want to know what the positive stuff is. Because if I had known the negative stuff about being a psychologist prior to becoming a psychologist, I don't know if I would have done it. I probably would have chosen something different. But then I wouldn't be here and I would be with you guys. So, I guess it all worked out. So number 4 should be list of 12 questions that you come up with. Any 12 questions is fine, but there is like a guideline in chapter 9 that kind of explains to you what sort of questions you should be asking. And there's a list of sample questions that you can sample. Feel free to use those. Okay. Number 5, explain why you're calling for the interview. List some explanations you can give when you call. And this is straight out of the book. It tells you some explanations, but I would use something like, hi, my name is Amy Borgi, and I'm taking a class on careers, and I'm actually thinking of going into the career of radiology, and I was looking to find somebody who's currently in that career that can help me answer some questions about the field. That would be perfect. Something along those lines, okay? Number 6, explain why you want to know more about this kind of work before you decide you're interested or before you decide why you should use it as a career. So this is just you personally reflecting on your knowledge of the career so far. So you might want to write something like, well, I chose radiology because it seemed like it was fast and easy to get a degree in, and it seemed like something that would help people, and I like helping others. But I'm not really sure what the ins and outs of radiology are, and like what it's like a typical day on the job. So I would like to find that out. So something along those lines for that answer would be good. Number 7, explain why this interview would aid in getting ready for a job interview and what advice you'd like to get from someone in the field before the interview. Well, I want to get advice about what the good things and the bad things are so I can kind of weigh the costs and benefits of the profession. And I think if I were to interview, it would be nice to know kind of what an interviewer might be looking for or what someone who currently works in that field might actually be looking for in an employee. Okay, number 8, explain what information you already know about the career of the person you are interviewing. And so I would say maybe you might not know anything, or maybe you know a little bit. I know I'm working with specific equipment that I haven't been trained on yet, so I'm a little bit curious about, how hard is it to actually operate radiology equipment, and like what kind of tests am I going to learn how to do? Stuff like that I think would be good. Number 8, explain what information you already know about the career of the person you're interviewing. Okay, well, actually, in terms of radiology, I don't know very much at all. I just know that I would be helping people in some way, and I have to use complicated equipment, and that's about it. It's okay if you don't know everything. It's okay if you know very little. All I'm looking for is just an explanation of where you're at. Number 9, what type of information explain the type of information you think the person you are interviewing can help you learn about the job. Well, I think like just the ins and outs of daily work as a radiologist would be something that I would learn from anybody who is in that profession. Number 10, what explanation will you give the person you are asking for the interview about why you are interviewing them? Well, I'm just going to tell them I'm taking a class. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with my life, that this is a career that I'm actually interested in and looking at, but I'm not sure, and I would like more clarification about the type of career that it is, and things like, how much do people get paid in this career? How much actual work? Is there a lot of downtime? Like, am I sitting there bored a lot of the time, or am I busy the entire time I'm working? Those are things that are important to me to know. Number 11, how did you get in contact with a person you'll be interviewing? Were they recommended by someone, or were they someone you already knew? I'm like, Facebook, baby. I met them in a radiology group. Isn't that good enough? And absolutely it is. So I don't care how you find the person, just find them and tell me how you found them. Who is your reference for this interview? So if someone introduced you or told you about this person, then you would put that person there. Otherwise, you just say, I totally just found them just in a group on Facebook and they responded. So yeah, there was no middleman there. All right, so after the interview, it's number 13, send a note thanking the person for his or her time and include a copy of the letter here. So I do want to see the actual letter. Make sure you look in chapter 9 in your career fitness program book, because there is a little form, like a form letter. So your letter should be similar to that. I will be looking to make sure that your letter contains all the things that a letter should, including addresses and things like that, okay? If you did just meet the person via Facebook and you're just emailing, then I'm not going to be so worried about the address. All right. Number 14, date that you sent the thank you letter. And by the way, the thank you letter is very, very, very important, because somebody took time out of their life and their day to help you. So you should take a minute to say thank you, okay? That's very important to be polite. Number 15, make sure you include a list of all the questions you actually ask in the interview and the answers for number 15. So yes, your whole interview goes in number 15. So just the questions in number 4, whole interview, question and answer, question and answer, question and answer in number 15. And then number 16, write a paragraph summary of your interview. Include what you learned, how you think the interview went, and whether it was helpful to you or not. So a paragraph is 5 sentences at least, so make sure that you do 5 sentences there. This first interview for extra credit is 100 points of extra credit. I believe the first interview, I'm not sure when I have the first interview actually due. Let me look real quick here. 7/15. So it is due on 7/15, and you'll turn in that copy of your interview. Basically, it'll be these 16 questions. You just do numbers 1 through 16. And remember, the interview questions are number 4. The questions with the answers, your whole interview, is in number 15 of those 16 questions. So that's what you'll turn in. And that's it. So that is worth 100 points. Then at the end of the semester, I'm going to be offering extra credit for you to do 2 additional informational interviews. I believe, let me see how many points I made those worth real quick. Give me 1 second here. Extra credit. So they'll be worth 60 points apiece for the additional ones. So the first one's worth 100 because you're doing it at the beginning of the semester. I'm like, good for you for getting it done early. You get a little extra. Then those last 2 will be due with the final exam, and those will be worth 60 points apiece for a total of 120 if you do both of them. So technically, you could do 3 of these through the summer term. If you missed the first one, like you weren't able to do the first one, you can still do the other two for the 120 points, but you won't get the 100 unless you do this first one. Okay, so that is the informational interview, not to be confused with the mock interview. They're both, due pretty soon. I think the mock interview is not due till the end of the semester. This one is due on 7/16, but then again, at the final as well, the 2 additional ones are due. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Try to be pretty clear, but sometimes I wonder. So if you have any questions, feel free to text me at 909-224-1204. All right, guys, have a good rest of the day. Bye.